YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy Xerxes coming back at you with another one. So today, huge update for the build. Okay, so what I did, if you guys aren't familiar, I was playing in a private like solo self-found league. I made it to where I got 115 of 115 maps done. I did all of the Maven Witness fights, 132 on my Atlas completion. So I got the build pretty much to where I was happy with it, and I did everything that I wanted to do in the solo self-found environment. So what I did was I migrated my character over to trade, and I made some serious improvements. So today, what I figured I would do is before I go over any of the gear, I have a T16 100% Delirious Strand map here with some pretty juicy mods with crit chance, crit multi, monster elemental resistance, inhabited by ghosts. This is pretty crazy map. I actually have not even tried 100% deli map yet, so this is going to be the first time that I run one. So we're going to go through it together, and then it's also going to be a destructive play tree too. So let's pop this in, and I'll show you the difference between a solo self-found Frostblades Warden and a trade league Frostblades Warden, because it is quite a significant difference. So let's just go blast through here and I'll show you what it looks like. It's a zoomer. It's a zoomer. Let's see if we can, oh, there's a um, Legion in here too. This might get kind of nutty. These dudes are going to be like so tanky by the end of the map, but I think we're going to have the damage to take them down. So far, so good. That is the one thing that you notice when your tincture goes down, is that you have a little bit of time where you're kind of caught um, trying to make up for the mana that you lost on the leech, like right there. Oh, we gotta turn that shit off. I hate these things. That was a tanky boy right there. Oh, there's a boss. Okay, so that was like 100% deli omniphobia right there. Okay, we're cheating a little bit with the um, shrine, but there's a Kosis down. And that's the map down right there, boys. That is some crazy shit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the hideout and go over the build, but just wanted to kind of show you that the build can do some seriously juice content if you're willing to put some currency into it. So I don't know what the damage was last time. I think it was around 20 million, and I'm pretty sure now we're up to like 60 million. And my gear is still nowhere like perfect. Granted, I have a pretty sick claw. You guys are going to see it here in a second, but we'll go over just piece by piece and show you what I got linked in here and what kind of gear I have. So obviously I switched over to a heat shiver, and in my heat shiver I have Vol Lightning Strike with Culling Strike, Rage support. So this in conjunction with the Rage on hit from the Lethal Pride makes it to where when you're mapping you pretty much have 30 Rage all the time. It's very nice, huge quality of life and damage there. And then returning prods just to stack up the shocks a little bit more. So that's the heat shiver. Let's go over this claw. So when I was in trade league or in the private league, I found a merciless claw from one of the shipments. And so I had it laying around, and what I did was I came over to the trade league. I bought a fracturing orb for 6.5 divines. I got this down to 4 mods with the merciless on it. I hit it, and I ended up hitting the merciless. So I fractured the merciless fizz. I rolled this with essences of hatred, and then I rolled it until I hit the flat fizz. And then what I did was I did prefixes can't be changed, reforged speed, and I hit T1 attack speed on the first roll. So at that point, I had 1 suffix. So what I did was I crafted on prefixes cannot be changed again, and then I went over to the harvest bench and I did add remove crit. And so it removed the prefixes can't be changed, it added on the crit multi, and then I crafted on crit chance. And that is pretty much damn near as close to as good of a claw as you can get. The essence, I don't know if I use deafening. I'm not sure on that one. And I still need to probably divine this too. But I don't remember what essence I used. I'd have to check. But either deafening or shrieking, I think. But use the essence, hit, so it's T2 fizz, which could be T1, and then it's T2 crit multi. But other than that, this is pretty much the claw that, as good as you're going to get in terms of this build. Then I use the runes to put on the 25% fizz damage enchant. So very, very good claw. I got very lucky with this. It probably only cost me, I would say, less than 20 divines, and this is probably worth, I don't even know, but it's worth a shit ton. So if you can't get as good of rolls, just go for as good as you can get, but use that similar style to do it. Or you can get a fractured attack speed, but the way that you're going to go about doing it is different based on what your fracture is. So if you have a fractured fizz mod like this, that's how I did it. Okay, very good claw. Still using a taming. This is a pretty good roll taming with max roll LA damage with ailments. And then the body armor. Unfortunately, with the Syndicates card, I think it might be the better play to go with a body armor that has less of a dex requirement. As you can see on this one, I actually rolled reduced attribute requirements, which makes it work, but it's a dead suffix, right? So ideally, you would like to use a evasion base that has a little bit less dex requirement, and you can get something like chaos res on there. So that is something that you can do. And as well, I am in trade league now, so I will probably be getting an ancestral vision, but for the time being, I haven't gotten one. So the way that I'm getting ailment immune is through this craft here, and then I have 30 and 26, which is 56 on my boots. So if you take 56, and then I have 20 on the tree from this, I believe it's called the thick skin wheel. So this is 20, right? So if you do the math, it's 56 plus 20, that's 76 plus 25. So I have 101% chance to avoid elemental ailments. So I am element immune through these 2 items and the tree. So ideally, I think if you're in trade, you want to go ancestral vision, and then you can drop one of these and get another prefix on there. But this is still pretty good. So in here, we're still using life tap with Assassin's Mark and Mark on Hit. And then since we have a heat shiver now, we switched over from cold to fire, and we are running Ruthless with multi-strike, awakened LE damage with attacks, Frostblades, Nightblade, and awakened cold damage. Still leveling up this and the awakened LE damage with attacks. This amulet is still the same amulet that I was using in the trade league. It sucks, but it's fixing my attributes right now. And then same thing with this. This is fixing all my resistances too. So these need to get upgraded. I just need to move some stuff around on some of my gear. But one thing that I did get when I switched over as well was a 19 suppress fracture on a shield. And that allows me to get suppress capped with just 2 pieces of gear. What you need is 38 total suppression between 2 pieces of gear. And then the rest you get from the tree to make you 100% suppress capped. One thing to note, guys, if you're looking here in your character, it'll say 100 sometimes, but this is assuming that you're on full life, because when you're looking in your hideout, you are on full life, and there's a node right here that gives you 10 extra chance to suppress while on full life. So you really need to make sure that if you go into POB and look, that you don't have the always on full life checked, because this will skew the numbers and make it look like you have more suppression than you do. So that's one thing we see a lot with people when we look at their POBs and stuff, is that this is actually screwing them up and they think they have 100 when they don't. So very important there. Okay, let's go back to the gear. We covered these. I ended up rolling some +2 strike gloves. Ideally, what you need on these is a T1 accuracy roll, and what that'll do is allow you to drop these points here. For now, I don't have that, so I'm going to be getting an accuracy fracture on some gloves here pretty soon, and then I'll be re-rolling my gloves to make that work, and I can drop that. But for now, these are working just fine for me. And in here we have steel skin with automation. These are linked, and then whirling blades with faster attacks. On the shield, we have Frostblink linked to Bone Chill, and then my Blood Rage is on my shield. One thing to note too is making sure that your Blood Rage is on a weapon swap, to where if you're mapping and you don't have anything to hit, your Blood Rage is going to degen your life, and it could get kind of sketchy. So what I do is I have it on my weapon to where I can just weapon swap real quick and turn it off, and my life will automatically start going back up. And one thing to note on the weapon swap, as you can see, I switched everything to where there's no buttons that I can push here. So if I weapon swap and accidentally hit a button, I don't screw anything up or turn my auras off or anything like that. So Blood Rage on. If there's nothing to kill, click it like that real quick and your life will start regening. Really, really important there. The Stygian Vise is the same one that I had before. It had an open prefix, so I just used the Redeemer's Exalted Orb and hit 16% increased cold damage there. Other than that, it's still the same. And the boots, I believe, are still the same. All I did was elevate the Avoid Elements and elevate the Brittle Ground, so I could be capped. These are pretty scuffed too, but they get the job done. And the flasks are all still the same, I believe. Just a crit chance Diamond Flask. Then we have a Corrupted Blood Life Flask, a Onslaught Flask with Avoid Being Stunned. So this with the body armor, what is that, 73% chance to avoid being stunned. So it's pretty solid right there. And then we have an Evasion Flask with increased evasion. And I ended up rolling a pretty juicy tincture that has increased LE damage, increased effect, and attack speed. This I would ultimately, wait, this isn't the one that I want to use, I don't think. What did I do with the other one that I had? I have a better one than this, but for now this will be fine, I think. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought I had one that was T1 attack speed, but maybe not. So that covers all of the gear. In terms of the passive tree, I ended up getting a couple of blind on hit tattoos. So I was able to drop this blind wheel down here. And then I ended up dropping these points going up to where this attack speed was. And I dropped the plus strike nodes because I got plus strike on my gloves. So when you do that, it opens up the possibility for a cluster jewel. And what you want on this cluster jewel is an item level 84, 12 passive with increased cold damage. And what you do with this is you roll this on the harvest bench over here. You can do either attack like this, or you can do caster with blue juice, right? Either one of them will guarantee that you get this increased attack speed and cast speed with cold skills. It doesn't guarantee that you get 3%, so you have to keep on rolling until you hit 3. And then ideally what you're looking for is 3% increased attack speed. You have to have 35% increased effect, and ideally you want 4% or 5% increased damage, whatever team 1 is. T1 is 4, okay. And then the last one is kind of up to you based on what you need. Ideally, you would probably want all attributes or all res. I think those two are the best ones. I ended up getting strength, and I called that one good for now, just because I spent probably like 10 divines trying to craft this, and it's probably worth more than 10 divines as it is right now. So I'm happy with it. So the importance of this is that why you have to have the 35% increased effect is because 35% of 3 is more than 1%. So these 3% nodes end up jumping up to 4%, right? So as you can see, the attack and cast speed with cold skills goes from 3 to 4, and all these other ones get boosted too. So 4% damage ends up going up to 5% damage, right? And then the 12% increased cold damage goes up to 16% increased cold damage. So if I was to get 3 strength on here instead of 2, which I could divine this actually, which I should, this will give me more strength. Let's do that right now, actually. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I don't think it can change anything else, right? There's no other roles. Yeah, so I hope I don't brick this right now, but this should go from 2 to 3, hopefully, to nothing changed, to nothing changed, 3. There we go. So now, when I put this back in here, let's put these back on. Learn something new right now. So instead of having 3 strength on there, now it goes up to 4. So I just picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strength by doing that. So not too bad. But this is very important. It is a shit ton of damage. Make sure that you get it with at least 35% increased effect, though, or else you're going to be screwing yourself. So very solid cluster jewel there. And then I think that covers pretty much everything that I have. I will include the POB in the description below. You guys can check it out. Definitely still some room for improvements, but I think for having just switched over today, we made some serious gains, and I'm having a blast with the build. So hopefully this serves as a guide for something to aim towards if you guys are still working on the build. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. One thing that I'd like to say too, we are very close to 1,000 subscribers, which has been my goal on this channel since the beginning of the year. So if you guys enjoy the content, if you learned anything by this video, please consider subscribing. It would help me out a lot. And the last thing that I want to say before I end the video, I've said this a lot on my channel, but I just want to make it very clear that I did not come up with this build. I've been playing Frostblades for a long time, but the person that I learned everything about this build from is Zish. He's another YouTuber, streamer. I'm in his guild, play in his private league, and so just want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm not trying to take credit for his work, right? Because he is the Frostblades guy, and I just really enjoy the build and have enjoyed following along and learning from him. So just want to make that clear in case anyone thinks that I might be trying to like take credit for something that's not mine. Definitely not trying to do that. So with that being said, guys, I will leave the video there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, drop a like, drop a comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.